I was going to try to keep this review PG and try to focus on the volleyball, because you guys know we're here for the volleyball. But I should have known better, as YouTube will demonetize anything with the Dead or Alive name in it, so f*** it. Let's do this. Yeah, that's right, we're talking about Dead or Alive Xtreme 3. No, we're not talking about the fighting game with the jiggle physics and the bouncing. We're talking about the beach volleyball game with the jiggle physics and the bouncing. You know, a lot of people look at this game and they see just gratuitous shots of ass and titties. But really, I see a really intricate and detailed beach volleyball game that maybe does the mechanics of beach volleyball in the top of beach volleyball games of all time. So I think for that reason, it's worth a look, and for no other reasons at all. Okay, let's rip the spin. Let's go. Great dig, partner. Yes! So let's get ready to bust this game wide open. I'm ready to look into every crack that this game has to offer. Alright, so as you know, this game is about a group of vacationing women who are scantily clad in their bikinis on vacation on Zack Island or New Zack Island or whatever. I did a video on the intro to this and the lore of this game, which is ridiculous, but I think for this review, I'm going to ignore most of that stuff and ignore most of the stuff about the purchasing swimsuits and doing all that other crazy stuff and whatever the hell this is. Yeah, what is going on here? I don't really know, and I don't really think we need to talk about it for the purposes of this review. This isn't a game! Ah! Maybe I should censor this. What the f was that? Instead, what I wanted to focus on is the volleyball mechanics and the actual volleyball gameplay in this game, because I think it's worth a look, and I think it does volleyball in a way that we haven't really seen done in other games, and I'd like to take a closer look at that in hopes that maybe one day somebody sees this and they're making a volleyball video game and says, oh, we could do it that way. I mean, minus the jiggle physics and the bikinis and stuff and all that. You guys know what I'm talking about. No, that's a nothing button. Okay, good to know. That, yeah, no, not that. So let's bounce right into the volleyball gameplay. There's only a few simple controls that the player will ever use to interact with the game. You can move your player around with the control stick, similar to other games, and you only control one of the players on the court at a time. You have a range of buttons to choose which types of serve you want to put in, but other than that, you basically only use two buttons. One to pass and dig and to set, and the other to attack. It's fairly simple, but I did often mix those buttons up and end up setting when I wanted to dig or hitting when I wanted to set, or all sorts of stuff like that. I should have gotten the English version, so I actually learned the controls. Either way, every contact in the game behaves the exact same. You tap the button with the appropriate timing to improve the quality of the attack. And it's as simple as that. There's no other controls about really aiming or positioning or anything like that. Those are a factor, but really the only way that you'll be able to interact with the game and have an influence over your performance is on timing exclusively. On the pass, if you press it with good timing, you'll pass it up well. Setting, if you set it with good timing, you'll give your partner a really nice set to the net. Attacking, if you hit it with perfect timing, your spike will be high enough power that it will likely score. That is if you don't get blocked. And even then, sometimes you may knock over the opponent blocker if your timing was good enough. Same thing for blocking. If you time it perfectly and aim the right way, you'll be able to get a solid block. This focus on timing for all the game mechanics makes it really easy to pick up, and adds a little bit of depth, as trying to find the timing to really make the perfect contact on blocks in particular and spikes to really attack where you want it to go adds for a little bit of discovery into this simple setup. One thing that I really like about the volleyball gameplay in Dead or Alive Xtreme 3 is the feel you get with each contact. Pressing the button with the correct timing and the sound effects and the animations that play for each contact really give you a sense of weight to each contact. If your opponent pounds it at you and you barely make a dig, you really feel like you're going through that motion with the player on screen as they kind of maybe get knocked over, which happened to me a few times, or kind of just barely managed to get in the way as you maybe yourself were really struggling to get in the right position. The other one must be dig. She knocked me completely over. The way this is achieved is by having a variety of animations and a variety of sound effects, and yes, some of them sound completely ridiculous, and when you combine them all together, it sounds exactly like something else. But we don't need to talk about that. We're here for the volleyball. I promise you we are playing this only for the volleyball. This combination of animations and sound effects for both the player and ball contact give a really great amount of feedback to the player about the quality of their button press, making it a lot easier for the player to figure out by trial and error which timing should be best for these contacts. On the pass, if you make a good pass, it kind of has a really crisp sound to it. Your player kind of makes a simple sound and the animation is very much in control. As opposed to if you're a little bit off, you'll see a little bit of a movement with the arms, a more of a worried sound from the player, and the contact is a little bit more sharper. Same thing if you completely shank it, you'll hear a yell or a grunt or a moan from the player. Again, we're here for the volleyball. And the ball sound effect will be a lot louder, and the animation, they may even fall over. This giving you feedback for, you know, when you press the button timing, you could feel that, you're really trying to figure it out, and you can watch on screen for the results as they happen, so you can really try to narrow down what's going to be the best timing to help you be successful. This game isn't perfect by any means, and this brings us to probably one of the weaker elements of the game is the shitty camera angle. Looking from the side and kind of to the left or right of the game is just the worst possible angle for a beach volleyball game. Not from the end, or not from the side, or even on top, or even a camera that moves around. This is just the dumbest angle for depth perception and figuring out where the hell you are. It is very difficult to figure out if you're too deep in the court, or too shallow, or too close to the net, or too far away, because the depth perception is so hard to get when the camera's slightly moving from this stupid frickin' corner angle. Not sure who decided that. I guess they were looking for the gratuitous shots, and I couldn't help but notice that the camera angle while you're serving has a particular low angle that seems to frame something specifically, you know, when it's down there. This also is a stupid camera angle. I mean, raise it up or move it, like, then it moves to the corner. I don't have a lot great to say about the camera angle. I think here there was a different motivation for moving this camera about other than supporting the gameplay. Oh, it was supporting some type of play, all right. What makes this camera choice even weirder is camera seems to be a major focus for the rest of the game, for pretty obvious reasons. When you work this hard on character models like this, you want to make sure you have a great view of everything that's going on. For, again, obvious reasons, but that means they seem to have a really clear system for camera angles and splines where the camera can move about in a set path, or dynamically depending on what's going on. Which makes it even weirder why in the beach volleyball gameplay, you couldn't, say you wanted the gratuitous shot at the booty from the baseline, that's fine, but could we not dynamically shift into a side view, or just go up higher for an end view so we can actually see what we're doing, then go to all that other stuff. I'm not really sure why they didn't think to do that so they could make an enjoyable game experience and an enjoyable, well, whatever other experience you're looking to get out of this game. What I will say about this game is, of all beach volleyball games out there, there is no game that has even attempted to get into the dynamics of a beach volleyball partnership. It's like a marriage, and trust me, I know I've had like 20 different beach volleyball partners, and if you'd asked each of them, they probably each have something completely different to say about me. It's a really intricate, deep, unique type of relationship between two human beings. And this game actually takes a shot at trying to do something about it. I'm not going to say if they did it really good or really bad, but they didn't really do a great job. I like that you can raise or lower your relationship level with your partner, which will help them perform better on the court. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm surprised I haven't seen other games try to do that. Now, the way you do this is by playing other games with your partner or giving them gifts, which include suntan lotion, cocktails, bikinis, and stuff like that, which, I'm sorry, but that just really brings things down to a base level. If there was even just a little bit something different here, maybe based on your performance, maybe if you go on tour all the time, just something a little bit more different than just, oh, give them these superficial gifts. I guess we are playing Dead or Alive, so I'm not really sure what I expected, but still, it was a valiant effort. Another thing that I like is that you can give gifts and try to woo a different partner so that you can request and try to change partners. I did this once in my playthrough. I wooed a different partner and then played and pummeled my former partner, which was hilarious. It made for a great dynamic story, but as well, you actually saw the cutscene where you had to break up with your one partner and join up with the other, which that actually happens. I mean, the camera angles were gratuitous and the girls were scantily clad and jiggle physics were abound, but it, right? Like, at least it's close. Again though, from a design perspective, the way you do this totally undermines its own mechanics. You gotta give gifts to your partner to increase your affection so that they perform better. To woo a different partner, you also have to raise their affections. So when I woo a different partner and then they become my partner, they're already at full affection potentially, which means I have nowhere left to go. All this talk about partners, I think, has taken this review in a different direction, and we're here for the volleyball, so let's get back to the volleyball. We need to keep in mind, we're here for the volleyball. The difficulty system is interesting as well. Based on your relationship level and your relationship level with the different girls on the island, it will give you different options for difficulties for the players that you'll play against. So you could have a hard opponent with an expert opponent, or a medium or an easy. They can be a variety or a combination of both. What was kind of frustrating for me is that I didn't really notice much of a difference between these difficulties. Maybe a difference between easy and medium and then hard expert. There was a bit of a jump there, but when you really learn and get good enough at this game, the expert level opponents really aren't that difficult to beat. It doesn't really change the game that much. If you've got great timing, you'll win. I would have really loved to see some more variation here, maybe some different play styles. Maybe I have to have different positioning. Maybe I'm better off as a blocker, or maybe I'm better off as a defender against certain opponents. Those types of things would add to the longevity of playing this mode rather than each game really feeling like the same every single time. Again, to go along with the simplicity theme that we've been seeing a lot in this game is the games are only up to 7, and they go really fast, and there's not really much time for any sort of big comebacks or huge defeats, as if you go up by a few points, it's already over. I would have liked to see maybe some different options. Maybe on an expert set of enemies, you got to play to 11, making it you got to maintain a high level of play for longer to win. Or maybe a different type of game mode. This is an arcade, silly game. Maybe some of the other mechanics come into the gameplay and change things up a little bit. I think that would have also gone a long way to varying things and increasing the length of time that you can play and really get variety out of this game mode. Overall, I think Dead or Alive Xtreme 3 is a fairly decent representation of a volleyball game. I mean, all the elements are there that you would expect to be in a beach volleyball game, along with a, I wouldn't say exactly unique, but a fairly unique perspective at the gameplay with the kind of perfect timing on each contact and not really focusing on aiming. It's a simple version and there's not really a lot of depth here, but it is executed quite well. Okay, now I'm going to talk just for briefly and awkwardly about the presentation of this game. I think the art in this game is incredibly well done. The textures are high definition and look great across all the different character models. Each character model looks beautifully well done. High poly. Really great poly count on those models, and each of the animations are smooth and silky, like you would really want to see out of a game like this. The music also is banging. I mean, it's jamming. I mean, it's super hot. This game also has one of my favorite soundtracks. I know some of the tracks are a little bit out there, but some of them are really great tunes and from some notable artists as well, like not obscure music, and it kind of suits the beach vibe of this game and really of the beach volleyball community as a whole. I'm not sure if they meant to go for this, but the jams are great. Are you kidding me? Shit! What's great too as well is when you change partners, you get a different audio track that plays when you play a game with that partner, which I can't think of a more shallow reason to pick a different partner over another other than their great jam that comes with playing with that person. I love it. Partners have been changed for a lot less. Overall, I think Dead or Alive Xtreme 3 gets a bit of a bad rap because it's basically a softcore porno of a game. But underneath that kind of rough exterior is actually a half-decent beach volleyball game that has beautiful textures, a great soundtrack, and a lot good going for it. I think some of the simplicity of it though does take away and doesn't really make it so that you can play and enjoy this for a long time. But this is definitely one that is a lot of fun with you and some buddies or some friends, or to just sit down and have a laugh with the ridiculousness while enjoying the actually half-decent beach volleyball gameplay. So, for that reason, I gotta give Dead or Alive Xtreme 3 a 69 out of 100. Yeah, that's right. From a volleyball perspective, this game is actually pretty decent. I can't find many major flaws with it other than the camera. Yes, it's simple, but what it sets out to do, it does pretty well. So I thought about giving it a 7, but I think it's just under a 7 out of 10. So I had to advance my scale to be out of 100. So that's why it gets that 69 out of 100 rating, and for no other reason. Anyway guys, that'll do it for Dead or Alive Xtreme 3. I hope you enjoyed this review, and hopefully YouTube doesn't totally copyright or demonetize my video to Kingdom Come. I hope I can actually get it out there for somebody to watch. And hopefully if you guys have a chance to pick up this game on the Japanese PlayStation Store, that's how I got it. There's a little bit of a trick. You can look it up and figure out how to get this game if you're not from Japan. It's actually a fun one to sit down and have a good time with. Wait, I should rephrase my words there. Anyways, I said that in a review. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you want to support the channel, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment with some of your thoughts about this game or anything else you'd like to see. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and thanks so much for sticking all the way through the video. So, thank you guys again for watching, and we hope to see you next time on Yes Guy Gaming. So let's get ready to bust this game wide open. I'm ready to look in every crack and under So let's get ready to bust this game wide open. I'm ready to look into every crack and in every hole of this game. So let's bounce right into I mean, let's jump right into it. I think this game does a really good job of having high definition textures, really high quality character models. The art just looks fantastic.